Hi, everybody. Welcome to ESOL 6203 Multicultural Awareness and Education. I'm really excited to work with all of you, and I love teaching this course. This is just a brief overview of the syllabus, and you'll want to make sure that you go through and read it in its entirety. But there's just a couple of things that I'd like to point out. First, the course description. We're really going to look at diversity issues that impact teaching and learning, and hopefully help you become an even more effective teacher for all of your students. If you don't already have your textbook, you can see the textbook information there, and please order it ASAP. On the next page, you'll actually see our course objectives. Again, we'll be looking at cultures, we'll be looking at teaching, we'll be looking at what is multicultural education, looking at different cultural groups. We'll have you immersed in a situation where you'll be the minority. Um, and then looking and developing culturally responsive teaching curriculum and teaching practices. Below that, you'll see our School of Education unit goals. Those are just the general goals for all of our courses. Attendance participation, again, just in an online course, make sure you're doing all the forms, the readings, the Adobe Connects, and that sort of thing. That is all worth 20% of your grade. And then you'll see a list of assignments. You'll have an article presentation, and diverse issues have been in the news a lot in the past few months. And so you'll find an article about teaching diverse learners or current events, how they've impacted your classroom, and you'll share that with us. Another thing that I'd like you to do is a home visit. You can learn so much about your students by doing a home visit, and sometimes teachers don't have the opportunity to do that. So um, we want to make sure that we have that opportunity. After you do your home visit, you'll look at culturally relevant text. What would be a culturally relevant text for that student whose home you visited? And we'll have a checklist for you to look at to determine if what you picked really truly would be relevant for that student. Then there's a border crossing assignment, and that is part of our religion unit. Where you'll visit a place of worship that's either ethnically or racially or linguistically or religiously different than what you are. And it's a really, again, a really powerful learning experience. Another assignment that we have is poverty professional development, because as you're going through the program, you'll become a leader. And this is an opportunity for you to really look at your school, look at the demographics, look at what teachers know about poverty, and then give some suggestions on what might be a good path to take as far as professional development for your school. Then you'll do the culturally responsive resource bank, and this is something that we can decide. You can either do it dependently, you could do it with a partner, or all three of you could do it together. Finally, there'll be a reflection paper, just making sure that you understand the TESOL domain of culture. And then you see our class schedule and assignments, and this is just set up like it is in any other course that I teach. You can see the date, the topics that we'll be covering that week, the objectives, your readings, and then some discussion questions for you to think about, or that might be on a forum, or we might talk about during our Adobe Connect, and then any assignments. So each week is just organized the same way, and you can always come back to get a better idea what you'll be doing in that week from the syllabus. You can see the grading and when things are due right there. Again, I'll always put it on the weekly agenda, but again, if you want to have kind of know beforehand, come back and look at the syllabus and what things are due, or what things are worth, and that sort of thing. And then you'll see just the course policy guidelines and support. And honestly, late work policy, again, I always try to point that out, that any time something is late, it's 10% off the first day, 20% off, 30% off, etc. And then by the time it's after 3 days, it is not worth any credit. So I always say just don't be late with things, and we don't ever have to worry about that. Um, a reminder to use our library. We have a great library, and just make sure a lot of times online students aren't accessing it, but we have so many materials that you can get online, and we have such good resources as far as help that I really want to encourage you to use our library. You can see some other resources there, the Academic Support Center, online tutoring, that can also help you out. TaskStream, you'll have one assignment to put into TaskStream, and if you don't already, we'll get you your TaskStream account and so forth for that. After the class is ended, I always keep the paper. So if you need the paper for any reason, it will be there for up to about a year afterwards. And then the Kansas Educator Code of Conduct, KSDE, has just asked us to include this in all of our syllabi. So just make sure that you practice professional ethical behaviors. And then there's the references for the course. So as I said, I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And I think this is a really fun, interesting course, and I hope that you enjoy it. Please make sure that you're getting on Moodle and checking things regularly. Thanks so much for listening.